Hey man, welcome back again, man. I forgot one of the most important people that I excluded from this list and just couldn't believe that I did that. It's actually Saquon Barkley. Uh, yeah, my man he needs to get it done. You guys know I've been critical of Saquon since he was drafted. I've always talked about the Penn State curse when it comes to running backs. Sounds crazy, but is what it is. But my point is being proved. I meant to do this a little bit earlier, but I just kind of put it off. Saquon Barkley having that monster year as a rookie, and what he did. We're talking about someone that rushed for 1,300 yards, 1,307, 11 touchdowns, caught 91 balls for 721 yards, and he led the league from line of scrimmage yards. 2028. The next year, 2019, he dropped considerably. 1,003 yards, 6 touchdowns. Still caught 52 balls, 438 yards, still pretty good. And then he missed 14 games last year. This is big for him. He cannot afford another injury. If Saquon Barkley gets injured again, in my book, Saquon would go down as a bust, even though his talent is through the roof. Saquon Barkley has the tools and everything to probably be one of the best backs in the league. Period. In the story. But when you start getting hurt, that's a problem, right? That means you're on the sidelines. That means it's much like when you're in traffic. When you're in traffic, right, and you get stuck at a light, or you leave to go to work at a certain time, and it's like if you don't leave at a certain time, traffic is just it's going to be so many people ahead of you. That's what's going to be happening with him. It's going to be somebody else that comes upon this and starts doing big things. You know what I'm saying? So when you take a look at somebody like, let's say, Derrick Henry, who I didn't know because, really Alabama backs hasn't really fared that well. Mark Ingram started faring well over the last couple of years. But you really didn't have backs really faring that well from Alabama for the most part. And so when we start talking about Penn State backs, and go back and check it out, I ran through a plethora of all the backs, first round picks, and all that. And I've said, the best backs that basically came out of Penn State in the past, 50 years, 50, 60 years, damn near. Lenny Moore, Franco Harris, Lydell Mitchell. You could throw Kurt Warner in there. Injuries kind of derailed his career. Tried to throw Larry Johnson in there for the year or two that he had in Kansas City, but a lot of them other guys I've talked about, and Saquon Barkley, the guy, I got into a big major thing with this other guy, but it's like he ain't say nothing else because my point has been proven. Because not a whole lot, barely went over 1,000 yards in 16 games in his second year, and then he missed 14 games last year. This is huge for him. This is major for him, and he has to get her done. As they would say, a lot of them coaches back in the day, he has to get it done. It has to get done. It has to get done this year. Or you got Daniel Jones or Danny Dimes as they call him, and everything. But as a quarterback, and he's not bad. I didn't see it coming. Quarterbacks like him, but this is what they do now, right? So some guy you don't even know nothing of, all of a sudden he's in the first round. So it is what it is. But this is what I'm talking about. Saquon Barkley has to have the same type of year that he had his rookie year. He needs to have that again. He's the type of back that can actually do that year in and year out. Thurman Thomas, LaDainian Tomlinson, Marshall Faulk type back. He's that type of guy. Roger Craig, a couple times in his prime and stuff like that. He has all of the tools. He has the size, the speed. And see, this is what I'm talking about. I saw yesterday, day before yesterday, I was watching Terrell Owens was on Shannon Sharp's YouTube joint, and I thought it was pretty dope. And Terrell Owens said some deep shit. I think Shannon asked him like who's the best receiver and whatnot. He's gonna go with Julio or who reminds him of him or whatever. Who's the best? He said a lot of them guys. He said we already try to put these young guys in the Hall of Fame, and these guys haven't put in 4 years worth of work, and that's social media. That's social media's bullshit there. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because you cannot keep sitting up there saying, start putting these guys because they have a year and start putting gold jackets on these guys because this is what social media has done. 20 years ago, this didn't happen. 25, 30 years ago, this didn't happen. Because although social media, you can say a great tool, the thing of it is you got a lot of homers, guys like myself, and a host of other people. My quarterback's this, he's that. And that means something. Once upon a time, whatever we said didn't mean shit. Now it actually means something, but nonetheless, you still got to play. And so you putting all these receivers like OBJ, because he even brought up OBJ. What did I say? All you guys have been rolling me for a little bit now. You guys know what I've already said. Hell of a talent. But what have you done for me lately? And the NFL, any pro sport, regardless of what the sport is, what have you done for me lately? And you haven't done anything. So this is a big gift for Saquon Barkley. As a football fan, I want to see him come off. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not, I'm a Dallas guy, so I'm like, don't want to come up too off, but I'm like, just as a football fan in general, I want to see the brother come off because he's talented. He can do it all. But he has to stay healthy. And they was playing, in word on the street, they was, like his head coach was like, yo, dude, look, he got to get some licks in. He got to get some licks in. Shit, he hasn't played since fucking 2020. And nobody's touching him. We're getting close to the end of the preseason. He's got to get some licks. You know what I'm saying? He got to get hit. And like I said, man, it's like this is really important. This is an important year for him to do whatever it is that he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of the whole aspect of the whole football thing. You know what I'm saying? He needs to come off this year. Or else he's going to end up, what? If he messes around and gets hurt and then pulls like barely 1,000 yards and stuff like that, you can try to give him his props and say all this other types of shit. But in the end, it's not going to really help a whole lot because he needs to get it. I mean, he needs to stay healthy for this whole entire year. He has to stay healthy and he has to put up 1,300 yards, 400 or 500 yards on the thing because it's no doubt that he can sit up there and be the bell cow that he needs to be. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see what the Giants end up doing. But it's like this is a big year for him. And, and especially if the guys don't really come off. It's like when Ezekiel Elliott came into the league, they started after him, and then he come off his rookie year, leading the league, his first 3 years later, the league twice in rushing. And it's like, okay, running backs, we're getting ready to start drafting him in the first round. If he doesn't really come off, you're going to start seeing running backs go back to the dark ages of declining and not being taken in the first round. And he needs to do his thing. He really needs to do his thing. And I want to see him do his thing and whatnot because, but it's hard for you guys to believe. Like I said, I'm a football fan first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost. You see, I got the judge on here, man. I got the judge. I'm from that era. From guys from the late 50s up until like the mid-80s. Mid-80s and whatnot. Those are the guys that I grew up on. That's what football was supposed to be. Late 50s, early 60s to go into the 80s and whatnot. And guys like the Judge, like Lester Hayes, those are the eras that I looked at. Right? And I enjoy that. So I want to see a guy like, as a fan, like see him come off. And whatnot, really see him come off and whatnot and everything because he's a talented back. He has it all, but injuries can derail even some of the great ones that you thought that was going to be good, and it just doesn't happen. Or you stuck on these sorry ass teams. But we're going to see what happens. But this is a big year for Saquon Barkley, so let's see what happens this year, right? Tell you guys all the time, there's no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And like I tell you guys, this is important. Them numbers. Numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. All right, guys, have a good one. It's almost kickoff. Holler at you later.